Hi there, it's Mr. Herman. I'm back again with another video. This time we're going to be solving a quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula. Remember that on my test you don't need to memorize the quadratic formula, but it's not hard to do. We talked about it, we had a video on it, and it's kind of easy to remember with that song. But it'll be on the test, so don't worry about that. So for right now, you just need to know how to go about solving it. So the first step is going to be to make sure that all the terms are on the left side and the right side is equal to 0. It can always be the other way around, but it's typically done this way. Then we're going to identify a, b, and c. So a is the coefficient of x squared, or the squared term. In this case, it's 10. B is the coefficient of the variable term that's not squared, and that's negative 14 in this case. And c is the constant, which is 3. You don't need to worry about the 0 right now on this problem. So next we're going to take and use the quadratic formula, which, as you remember, you can sing it along if you want. As we do this, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, as we know, over 2a. Just one 2a for those in 8-9 who keep saying several 2a's over and over again. With that, then, we can now substitute all the information. And I'm going to put it over here because we're running a space doing this way. So x equals negative b. And notice that b is negative already, which means a negative times a negative is a positive. So we're going to get 14 for this because two negatives make a positive, plus or minus. Here we have the square root of. Now this is negative 14 here, so it's a negative 14 squared minus 4 times a, which was 10, times c, which was 3, over 2a. 2 times 10. Now what we always do is we figure out what the discriminant equals first. So go ahead and type that into a calculator, and I'll do it with you here so we can see how that works out. I will put the whole thing straight in without the symbol, without the radical symbol for now. So put it in as parenthesis, negative 14, parenthesis, x squared, and then minus 4 times 10 times 3. Just like that. That gives us 76. So that means that we have now, I'm going to bring it down here a little bit over this way now. So we got 14 plus or minus the square root of 76 over 20. So now we have this part to deal with, which gives us two answers. 76 is not a perfect square, so we're going to leave it in there when we evaluate it. If you remember when I talked about these the first time, we had a little trouble in some of the classes because we weren't putting things in the calculator just right. In the first class, I wasn't actually telling you how to do it right. So if you're in other classes, you didn't have that problem. It really gets tricky. So what I'm going to suggest you do is figure out the top first and then divide by the bottom. Makes it a little bit straighter forward. And we'll actually use a calculator to do that. So let's scoot down a little bit now so you can see this here. And we're going to break it into two parts now. We're going to break it into the part that is plus and the part that's minus. So the first part's going to be 14 plus the square root of 76 over 20. And the other one's going to be 14 minus the square root of 76 over 20. I'm going to bring the calculator back in again so you can see how this works for the first one. So the first one, I'm going to take 14 plus second function, the x squared button, which gives us the radical symbol. 76 goes in there. Now here's where we're going to do it. Again, take our times here a little bit. You're just going to hit equals. You're going to get the top of the fraction. So the top of the fraction equals 22.71779, and so on. Now just take that and divide by 20. If we do it in the calculator, like I just showed, and don't correctly divide, you will not get the right answer. So this one equals approximately 1.136. We'll round to the nearest thousandth there. Now let's try it for the other one. And to do that, really, we can just go redo the whole thing, put it back in. It's not a big deal. 14 minus second function, the x squared button gives us the radical. 76 equals, so our top this time equals 5.2822, and all that stuff. Then divide that by 20. So this one gives us 0.264. So our two solutions are 1.136 approximately and 0.264. Remember, you should always substitute those back into the original equation and make sure that they work. Remember, since we rounded them, the answer is going to be a little bit off. It's not going to be exactly 0. It's going to be a little bit higher or lower than 0. Probably 2 or 3 decimal places of zeros and then some numbers after that.